right, cool. Ready?
Yo, we're here, bro. Come on.
All right. First Generation Talks. What is it? It's episode 6.
Episode 6. Yep.
Man, okay. How you been? We missed a week. You got life caught up with us a little bit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, hopefully we get to that guest. That'll be dope. But I think,
Yeah.
gotta just keep the shit going as best as possible.
Yeah. How's everything with you, man? How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I feel like it's definitely starting to wear on a lot of people
Yeah.
being indoors. I think a lot of people were cool in the beginning couple of days, and then now it's starting to get a little bit more restless.
Yep.
I celebrated my first. You ever use House Party? You know that app, House Party?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I celebrated my first birthday through House Party, and this weekend, shout out to my brother Francisco. I think we're gonna have to do a house party birthday again.
Happy belated.
Yeah, happy early birthday. I guess by the time this comes out, if we drop it early.
Yeah.
So,
Well, when is your actual birthday?
his birthday's on Saturday.
Okay. It's your brother's birthday.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just interesting just seeing life form around that. Like, I think for me, I mean, I'm Gucci. I've been working out and you know what I mean, making content as much as possible. But then at the same time, you got to just take it easy during these times, bro. There's only so much we can do and be active.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I started to notice was you start trying to just be too productive and you're burning yourself out for no reason, basically, you know.
Yeah, for me, I'm a person that I draw on inspiration, through life and being able to walk around and roam and random have people, and obviously just events affect you and whatever the case may be, and it's just I think at least for me, one of my routines has just been kind of going back to the natural form of creation, when you are inspired, which is just follow the curiosity and follow your general interest and genuine interest. Sometimes it is important to just be in front of whatever task is at hand and be in front of whatever is deemed your high priority, but a lot of the times, especially with music, I have found myself that when I'm not inspired to say something and I still try to write, 80% of the time, at least, I still swing for that 20, but 80% of the time, I'm not really saying anything at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no newness. But when I allow myself to just take it easy and trust my gut, I end up coming up with some fire, so I've been writing a bunch.
No, that's good, man. That's good. Yeah, it's been I think people are start bugging. They just announced today that they're extending the stay at home till May 16th, at least here in New York.
Yeah, I still feel like it's going to be longer than that.
Yeah, honestly. I agree.
Yeah. So it's I feel my heart honestly just goes out to a lot of people who the $1,200 check to everybody isn't going to suffice.
Right.
And unemployment, people not picking up their phones, and my heart is kind of it's kind of there with people. And obviously in the music industry, it's I'm eyeing now, but how long is this really gonna last? If concerts are really canceled till the 21st, till 2021 fall, and just things just start getting a bit limited. But I'm a soldier at the same time too, so I feel like I'm gonna just figure this shit out.
Yeah, I mean it's super interesting. I want to get into that because that is a very interesting kind of thing. I did kind of want to start a little bit on a lighter note, but you saw Bad Bunny, Forbes did a little thing and they named him the #1 pop star in the world. It didn't matter what genre it was.
Yeah, crazy.
They did something where they put it together basically you're touring, which she hasn't been able to do any this year. And then your social media interactions, your YouTube numbers, streaming, and all that kind of stuff. And he was #1 above Justin Bieber, which is wild.
Yeah. I think J Balvin was #3 artist on Spotify. I think on my random searches, it kind of attests to the birthing of this platform, but how much of that world consumes a lot of other people's lives on a day-to-day basis, and that's starting to show up and be respected in the stats and mass media, and obviously the publication looks and garnering that respect. So I'm not surprised. If anything, I'm just it's celebration,
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's definitely a movement, man. I think, and it was funny when we had Max from Audio Mac. He was talking about was it Don Miguelo, and then all of a sudden Don Miguelo ended up breaking the Instagram record for most people on a live stream.
No, I saw that. That's crazy. He put me on, man. He was definitely educating me, and I was checking into some of the artists that he was talking about, and just he definitely sparked a whole other type of question. But he was spot on with the Don Miguelo shit. And the thing is, my girl already put me onto that before. He just be doing basically the same thing that Tory Lanez is doing, just everywhere else.
Well, it's funny. Certain people are winning. You know what I'm saying? Tory Lanez is another one that's winning. You know, like I think I saw he gained like over 2 million new Instagram followers. I think his streams went up, stuff like that. Obviously, D Nice is winning right now. He's going to be, when this whole thing is over, definitely going to be one of the most sought after DJs in the world.
Yep, yep.
And somebody like Don Miguelo, his Instagram following is rising. So I mean, he was, you know, one of those middle ground sort of Latin artists, and now who knows what's going to happen when this whole thing's over. But it is super interesting to know what's going to happen for like those middle of the ground artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ones who don't like have that touring history that brings in millions of dollars. You know, because there is like this whole Brandman Sean talks about this, and he puts it in a good way. He's like this middle class pack of artists who like do well just because of the touring. You know, like they make maybe six figures. You know what I'm saying? And that's like enough to sustain them, and they live a pretty comfortable life depending on where they live. It's going to affect those guys the heaviest. You know,
Yeah.
because those guys can't afford to not tour for a year, if not more.
But that's the thing. Like I was just talking to a homie yesterday, and like they are on Paradigm, but like supposedly like Paradigm like let off half of their employees, and
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like that comes with the touring acts as well. So it's like, all right, uh, maybe I'll be okay. But now if you lost your agent
yeah,
in the midst of all of this, even though your touring fans is all right, like a lot of people are miseducated on the rigorous attention to detail and
hmm,
planning, and a lot of the times like super predetermined relationships that are in place for a lot of these artists to be able to be able to hit these cities, to be able to like market correctly and have
yeah,
the right promoters around to like, because most of the time, like if you don't see an artist, a popular artist in a town with a sold out show, a lot of the times it comes down to the marketing of it. Like, of course,
yeah,
that falls on the artist, you know, being on social media and just being active about their dates. But there are so many people behind the scenes that are, if not more important, just as important as making these things be successful.
yeah.
And a lot of artists, you know, do not have the resources. Even if you have the knowledge, you don't have the relationships and things in place. So it's like, yeah, it's tough. It's definitely a tough blow. You know what I mean? Like, and then obviously you have artists who are not in the middle tier, who are just starting to get those opening slots, just
Yeah.
starting to be able to hit. Maybe it's like an independent promoter and like working those relationships or whatever the case. And you know, I fall in that category. It's like where the fuck are the opportunities at all? You know,
Yeah.
we already were like kind of like, you know, making our way up into that whatever middle tier is.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting. I think it's scary, but at the same time, I think when moments like this happen, it also is exciting because you know that there has to be somebody's going to come up with something new. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
there's going to be some new advanced technology, some new creative idea that like kicks down the wall that kind of opens it up for people to start doing things. And like, you know, we're seeing some of the top tier artists like Tory Lanez and things like that, and they're going to be able to get sponsorships from their live streams and that kind of stuff. I've seen a couple like podcast hosts like charge for like a live podcast, and they charge people like $10 for a private link to stream or whatever like that. I'm just curious, like, what is going to be the right answer? You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I still don't know how to like, yo, cash app,
Right.
Liz, send me money. Like I still don't know how to like monetize that or like open up the door for people to send me $1, 50 cents, whatever they feel like doing. But I do see that platforms are starting to, for example, like NPR Tiny Desk, they had
Mhm.
Black Dot at home.
Right.
So I feel like we're gonna have a slew of like that type of content where
Hmm.
if the artists have the capabilities to like record well enough and in the privacy of their own homes, then that'll be like shared. And you have other platforms doing like at home concerts. Like I'm starting to see like festival rollouts, but all of the flyers, like they state like, you know, follow the artists, like they'll be performing from their home on their Instagram live. So
Right.
you're starting to have like these Instagram concerts on top of
Yeah.
like obviously the DJs kind of like broke through
Yeah.
for me, like those they were the first to like, all right, let me just like go on and you know what I mean,
Right.
start spinning from home. But now you're starting to have festivals like go from home and performance content like starting to come from home. And I feel like, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we're gonna like human beings, we're an adaptive species,
Right.
and confidence is an adaptive trait. Success is an adaptive trait. It's not based on everything remaining the same and you excelling. It's based on what is around you and what do you do about it. You
Right.
know, and then falling on top. You know, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
hoping for.
I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm definitely, you know, excited to see where it goes because, like I said again, I think through times like this, innovation end up coming about.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out because I think right now it's just the tipping point, but I think we definitely will start seeing entertainment jobs hiring for people who can record and shoot remotely. You know what I'm saying? So you're
Yeah.
going to see more, digital correspondence. But again, it's the same thing like what happened with the recording studios, where once the technology began becoming cheaper and more accessible, the recording studios kind of started dying out because people started needing to book them less and less. It got oversaturated. So that is one of my fears when it comes to these platforms and things like that, is that it is going to be oversaturated. There's going to be a lot more people doing it because the point of entry is going to be a lot lower. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just not sure. I want to be as optimistic as possible. I think there are two different variables to it where I'm just kind
Yeah,
of
how do you
wondering where it's going to go.
distinguish? Like, yeah, everybody's on live all the time now,
Right.
and it's just like there's nothing wrong with Instagram Live, obviously, and people should take chances and you know what I mean, take advantage of the opportunity because it's kind of like one of the more feasible and widespread platforms to do. But it's like you said, like man, how do you distinguish what makes it special? Like
Right.
I like the Swiss Beats Timberland collaboration on just like doing these battles because
Mm-hmm.
they've realized and a lot of people are starting to take note like just throw up flyers. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think you yourself you do it as well. It's like, yo, like we have to take advantage of whatever sources that we have, whatever resources we have. Let's like make the most of it. So like
Right.
with them doing like Instagram live battles, but all of the channels promoting it and it's a flyer and it's like, yo, when RZA and DJ Premier battled last Saturday, like I had that on my calendar since the flyer came out. Like
Yeah. Same.
I put a notification on my phone, like yo, 9 p. I put it for like 8:45, like yo, like they're
Yeah.
battling on Instagram, and I stayed the whole 3 hours. So I think, yeah, man, it's definitely tough, but this world has been oversaturated from the jump. If it
Mm.
wasn't this, it would be something else, and there's
Right.
always going to be an enormous amount of content. There's always going to be like this newfound power just because of the generation that we're at for DIY creators. You know what I mean? To like
Yeah.
continue to capitalize off of opportunities from the comfort of their own homes. But at the end of the day, I think a good idea is still going to win. You know,
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think
like
the
you're the only person that I've seen like on a day to day basis go on IG live every morning. You know what I mean? At 11, it's 11 or 10. When you
12 now was I was in the morning show, then breakfast club extended. Now it's in the afternoon.
copy. But yeah, but nonetheless, like you're
Yeah.
the first person that I've seen, honestly, still that has this consistent routine of just like, yo, I'm here to talk. And I saw now you've like opened it up to like, obviously, if people want to send their music and their
Right.
beats, or whatever the case may be. And I think that that's powerful. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I think you, obviously, we're doing this podcast. You have a slew of other like channels that you promote yourself through, but something like that is going to familiarize your fan base. You know what I mean? However many viewers end up
Yeah.
having tuned in at some point on the IG live, like that's another amount of people that are just like, you know, promotion is like they say you have to see it like 7 times before you react. I don't know what
Right.
the number is, but it's
Yeah.
like you have to see it. I think it's 17 or 18, but you have to see it enough where it's like stuck in your mind, and now you're like, you know what, I'm gonna react to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be consistency, because I think what's going to happen is you're going to have like the gold rush, and then eventually it's those who kind of are just doing it to try to get a quick turnaround as far as their following or anything like that, they're going to start getting weeded out because it's tough to do something consistently.
Yeah.
And then those who just stay consistent day in and day out, building slow, I've been doing it daily, and I've seen the numbers going up little by little by little, so it is that consistent grind. And I think, especially for somebody like myself who is not at that top tier level, that top, upper middle, whatever it is, I think another idea is exclusivity. You know what I mean? Because everybody is going live at the same time, so everybody can access it. Like last week, I threw like a private Zoom party for like one of my monthly parties that I do.
I saw.
Yeah, and it was like, bro, it was like invite only kind of, house party feeling, and you had to have the link to get in, and it made people want to come out and stay there, and like we had the whole a consistent crowd for 4 hours. You know what I'm saying? And if it was IG live, you probably have people skipping around this and that. So I think it's going to be the idea. That's just one idea, but it's the idea of creating exclusive sort of things for people to want to go to, especially if you're not at that point where you're not like a RZA or Premier, where people are going to be excited for weeks to tune into that.
Yeah, one of my homies, shout out to him, Marlon Craft. Like I saw he did something similar where he's been promoting private Zoom parties that are just like hangouts for him and like 40 fans, if I'm not mistaken, where it's like, all right, 40 of us, let's all go on video chat together. Let's just chop it up. I'm going to play some unreleased music, and then they hang out. And I think that that's an amazing, like,
that's dope
time. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, now you get to build, everybody's in their homes anyway. Everybody's taking advantage of that in one way or another. But I think for him, he saw it as like a core ability to like it's an opportunity to obviously build upon your core fan base. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's core and it's essential for like artists anyway.
Yeah, I think it's funny. I think this whole thing has stripped away so much, but it's also sort of made artists have to come down to the level of their fans and
Yeah.
like truly build a real fan based upon who you are and what you stand for. It's almost like the Nipsey Hussle principle, you know what I'm saying? Where it's like so many people fuck with him as a person before they even fuck with his music. And I think it's like forcing us all to have to do that, you know what I'm saying? Like to really dive into the things that are us as a whole and then seeing who really connects to it and who you know, sort of attaches themselves to it.
That's interesting that you say because I feel like what I've also seen,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, like the artists kind of have to like dip down to what the fan level is and what the times say. I'm not gonna say the artist because I love them, but I saw like an album come out within the last couple of weeks, and the artist kind of like maintained the same mystique, and I didn't it didn't seem to like go over well.
Yeah.
It's like this project came and went
Right.
solely because there was no interaction with how things are like operating now, and it's
Right.
like I feel like there is a negative side to it where it's like obviously it incentivizes all artists to always be like forthcoming about their day-to-day lives and what goes wrong and what goes right and how they're feeling, and it's like sometimes that's not anybody else's business what I
Right.
hate. But at the same time too, it's like, man, like this world is all going through this at the same time. And as
Mm-hmm.
creators, like, yes, there is a certain level of mystique that you can operate under comfortably and is like true to who you are in your essence. But at the end of the day, we are pushing product. We are
Right.
pushing clothing. We are pushing music. We are pushing videos. We are pushing to what to have somebody's attention. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And it's like it's just going to be essential for a lot of people to just kind of like debunk that whole mystique. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To thrive. Like I see Playboy Cardi tweeting now more than ever. Like, yeah, so he
Right.
released a song, video, and shit like that. And Lil Uzi the same thing. And I'm just like, yo, like that's important. It's
Mm-hmm.
very important, you know, because people feel seen and feel connected, and they feel like their support is being responded to not only with music, but just like you know a time of your day with it, whether it be a retweet or just like a response to a question or whatever the case.
Right. Well, because you no longer have the excuse like, oh, I'm super busy.
You're
You know what
busy.
I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you're not
Right.
busy. Like I've been
Yeah.
like for me and my team, like we've been taking advantage of it personally to just make those like just reach out to a bunch of people,
Yeah.
honestly. Like to reach out to a bunch of different like producers or just like collaborations or just like starting business. And it's been working. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I think for a lot of people it is an excuse, but for a lot of people it's the reality. Like you don't always have time to just respond to like
Right.
DMs and emails, even if you have made contact in the past. And I think it's important now more than ever. Like shoot your shot, bro.
Yeah.
Like what the
For
fuck? We're gonna
sure.
die any day anyway. Everybody's mostly in their crib anyway.
Yeah.
I know iPhone screen time for everyone is like through the roof for the
Yeah.
most part. So it's like, yo, like shoot your shot now. Like if you weren't getting those looks, if you weren't having those conversations, if you weren't reaching out by email to whatever the case may be to like help you in your personal life, like now is definitely the time to take advantage. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I've definitely personally seen that as well, where like people are a lot more receptive to doing things, hopping on a live or hopping on a conversation, that kind of stuff, because they, you know, they're a little more have the time, and it's just everything's just stripped away at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's like I think people also are just looking for that social engagement. You know what I'm saying? You might be able to hit somebody where like they're looking to connect with somebody. You know what I mean? Like we're all sort of like socially deprived of that connection, that human connection. So yeah, I mean, I would agree. Definitely anybody that is trying to do something like now is the time to hit up your person you look up to, whatever, and like try and, you know, get some game from them, whatever you're trying to do, you know?
I'm trying to figure out how to like do the live thing still. Like I did a couple with I did obviously the mental health platform happy like that and I did like a quick like preview music, but I didn't promote it or anything like that. But I'm seeing, like you said, it's like it's different for me because I'm not used to like being in front of a camera every single day and just
Right.
like explaining my thoughts. And I think I've built my social media presence around that, but it's like now is definitely a time for change. And I'm just like, man, like if I am going to be the person you decide to stick around for even 10 minutes, how do I like capitalize on that? So,
Yeah.
what have been some successes at least now for you? Like, have you seen a difference in the type of engagement? Have you seen what has it been like for you? I'm genuinely asking.
I mean, I think for what I'm seeing, like, even if it's, let's say 10 people, it's the same 10 people tuned in every single day from the start of that like live stream to the end of it. and
Damn.
they're like genuinely invested in what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And like every day that 10 becomes an extra, it becomes 11, then it becomes 12. It's like little by little. And then, I do one thing and so one of them reposted, then I get a couple of their followers, you know what I'm saying? And now they're checking me out. And it's like this little slow build that you like, it's almost like building through collaboration, you know what I'm saying? And like when I bring somebody else on, they might get a couple of my followers. And it's little by little people taking notice and stuff. And then it's also just like, it's cool to get a real time like feedback loop of what people are fucking with. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are the conversations that they're interested in? You know what I mean? Like, what ends up being like the thing that people go on debating about, and it was even like when I started, listening to people's music and stuff, like I was like, damn, like it really feels like people don't feel heard. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these rappers just like want somebody to listen to it and they get so excited when you even just give them those 30 seconds. So like now I'm going to do that twice a week. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's dope. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So so like that's something, and then they get hyped, and they start posting about it. You know what I mean? And then it ends up being like a couple people they follow now are hitting me up, and now they're like engaged, and they want to sit there and talk about things and stuff like that. So I think it is like when you do strip away everything, all the bullshit, you are seeing that connection, and it's easier to build stuff up. Even today, like randomly, I was on, and Angela Yee hopped on my live, and then next, that turned into a whole bunch of people on there who now we're curious about me. And when she left, not all her followers stayed, but a good chunk of them did. And now that just built everything up from there. So it's like this constant collaboration that you wouldn't get unless you're consistently putting out content and just seeing what the hell happens. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it is. I think for you, I know you're talking about like you've dabbled in this kind of stuff, but I think you'll see that if you constantly are hopping on with different people, you'll see like different stuff that works. What are some conversations? What are aspects of yourself that people are fucking with? And even every time you hop on there, you might get a couple followers, you might not, but it's a couple new people eyeballs like curious about what you are and what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
what I have been liking that I've been seeing is a lot of just like pairings. I feel like I'm being let into regular phone conversations between creators.
yeah,
Sometimes like that's the first time they're meeting. Like my girl
yeah,
the other day was watching Lena Waithe and Halle Berry like talk on IG.
mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I mean, I can't put it past. I've met a lot of people. I know you can just meet people, but I'm
Right,
just like, yo, like, who would have thought on some random shit? I'm just hearing Lena Waithe and Halle Berry exchange like
right,
ideas on relationships and being with yourself
mm-hmm.
on some pure shit. Like they're
Yeah,
just on IG Live. Halle Berry has never been on Instagram Live before. They've never had any real conversations face to face, hearing each other's voices, and I'm like,
right,
that's dope too. Because I think for me, I don't say it from the celebrity fandom
mm-hmm.
because I know everybody's just a human being making decisions, but I like the humanizing of stardom. It
Yeah,
kind of goes back to how we're saying like artists have to like take advantage of that and kind of break that mold. I think in general the world needs to like lighten up on like idolizing and celebrating like people's like fame and more so just realize that they're human beings going through their own trials and tribulations. And I
right,
think something like this, like it's like amazing seeing like Black Dog. Oh, that's what Black Dog's living room looks like. Oh,
right,
that's Tory Lane's living room looks like. Like, oh,
yeah,
that's what. I mean, Drake loves showing his crib. Like, oh, okay,
yeah,
that's how Drake's crib looks like. You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's just like that shit is it's humanizing because we're all kind of in this together. And I think that that's dope. You know what I mean? I don't know if that effect is like immediate and like widespread, but like for me, I feel like I'm automatically seeing just like the sensationalization of like celebrity just like kind of like dwindling down a little
yeah,
bit. People realizing like your money also does go directly to these people's pockets. Like your attention and the fact that you are paying attention to whatever it is that they're promoting is like an immediate reward to some regard. And I think that it just opens up a truer bond between like fan and
yeah.
artist.
I mean, I love even seeing like at the beginning of the battles is like when they're trying to figure out how to do it live. You know what I'm saying? Like,
It's fire, right? It's
like I love when they're fucking up.
like
Yeah.
it was like, oh, my Wi-Fi's fucked up. All right, let me
Right.
go to the car. It's like word, like you're
Yeah.
people, like we're
Right.
all people, bro.
Yeah.
Like yes, fucking Aaliyah's songs is amazing, but like you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
Tiffany's daughter's like, no, I'm gonna just post up here in the back and just like
Right.
watch. Like, yo, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
It's
it's
true.
like wabi sabi, it's like the Japanese term for like the imperfections is what makes something perfect. It's like yo, like
Yep.
that's a perfect presentation of just like life
Yeah.
wholly. You know what I mean? Like even before this, we should have just started like my girl coming in, I gotta move in the couch and
Right.
like
Right. 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 Right.
organize. It's like yo, like we're just people, man, and everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone. No one is not just a regular person.
Yeah.
Everybody has different ways of living about their lives. So
Yeah.
that's
And
man.
I think the people that are going to win are the people that are unafraid to convey that. You know what I mean? And I love what the kind of ending on this topic, but I love when you talk about that artist that put out stuff and didn't really engage, and you kind of just here and there, like here and gone in the album. But somebody like a Jessie Reyes was doing like live stream concerts from her bedroom. You know what I'm saying? Like playing guitar or like singing into her hair comb, you know, as a microphone. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, like her teddy bear was her fucking like audience. You know, and you like saw like such a human aspect of this person, just like being goofy and being dumb and like, you know, just living in the moment and playing stuff for her fans. Like, and people connected to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard a lot of people talking about her name.
And I mean, she deserves it though.
Oh,
She's
for sure.
super fucking talented, and I
Yep.
think like a lot of like singer songwriters are normally pigeonholed as just like singer songwriters, and the subjects are like, you know, universal, and they're kind of like. But she gets way more specific, and her lyricism is like amazing and all that. So she deserves that shit. And I feel
Yeah.
like she's always had like a bursting personality, but that's what it is. Like sometimes like presentations in media and when you feel comfortable being on Instagram isn't enough. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like sometimes you gotta just be locked up in the crib and like, you know what, let me show myself.
Yeah, nah, she's definitely dope. She reminds me of like almost like a new age Lauryn Hill. Same kind of
Yeah,
like
nah, she's
you
dope.
feel, you know, the pain that she's going through, and she's like unafraid to be tough at the same time, but also like emotional. Is it's definitely super dope. But I mean, talking about like, you know, kind of we're looking at like the end of this thing and when we're gonna be able to open shit up. Like, what do you think your comfort level is once they start saying like, okay, you can go to a restaurant, you can go to this, like, or do you find yourself being like, all right, I'm cool. Like once they say, all right, we can start going to restaurants again, you're gonna be cool with just like sitting down. Like, I'm curious what people's like new norm is gonna be as far as the level of comfort goes.
Yeah, I'm definitely waiting a month to
Yeah.
like go anywhere. I definitely have to just like kind of test what this thing is. I think recently I've been like taking like short, like 20-minute walks,
Hmm.
just like the same route away from people, mask on,
Right.
gloves on, hoodie on, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
to you still have to have the blood pumping and you
Hmm.
still have to walk your legs and then just walk around in safe spaces. But as far as being in like public spaces where like it's basically like a public gathering, I think I'm definitely gonna chill on that a bit.
Yeah.
If anything, what I'd risk it for is like content creation. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like if it opens up enough where it's like, oh, like restaurants are open, but it's a line because that's what you've seen. A lot of businesses just like
Right.
lines outside and they're limiting how many people can be in the place at one time. And I think
Right.
I'd rather risk out on some like creative creation. Other than that, I'm just like stick to home food, and if
Yeah.
I'm order some shit, like order it. I'm not going to the places, and yeah, it's just not like obviously like there are people our age who are being affected in a grave way, but I would hate to be the reason that an elderly person or somebody with some kind of like previous sickness I
Right. Caught it.
contaminate them and fuck up their life.
Yeah, I mean, and it's scary to think that is that going to be our new norm? Like, is like maybe takeout only our new norm from now on? You know what I'm saying? And like, is wearing a mask in everyday? Because I've heard some doctors saying that they think wearing a mask should be the new norm. Um, you know, because that they're saying that's the most like the effective way to stop it. That's how it's being spread, and that everybody should wear a mask when they're outside the house. And you know, China has been doing it for a long time for because pollution.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, so it's like that is that going to be a new cultural shift that we see? You know what I mean?
Yo, this world is in a very interesting place, man.
Hmm.
Just like the Great Depression, just like any occurrences in this world where there have been like plagues and just like economic extreme downfalls or whatever the case may be, revolution is birthed out of it, man. And I
Hmm.
think, you know, it's I'm paraphrasing, but Toni Morrison says something to the extent of like whatever the times are now, that it's that's when the artist is most important. Like the
Hmm.
artist's job is to reflect the now. The creator's job is to reflect whatever is occurring right now so that people feel seen, and we are those voices, we are those storytellers. And I think it's going to be very challenging for like creators like yourself, like me, like a lot of other people to just capitalize on human existence through all of this, because something like a hug that
Hmm.
was so underappreciated before for many is just like this rare thing now. And
Yeah.
something like I always went outside, I always took strolls, I always appreciated like being around friends and never like being on my phone when I'm having a conversation one on
Right.
one. But even now, so like more than ever, it's just like wow, like we take human interaction for granted,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, I'm gonna definitely chill out on that. I'm not going to restaurants.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird. I mean, even like retail, like malls and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be like, I don't. What? How are they gonna? Even like AMC was talking about like not reopening like the movie theater. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, we were talking recently about what airlines to invest in, because obviously at some point the flights are gonna
right.
go be active again, and And I was talking to my sister who's like heavily into stocks, and she's like, "Yo, I foresee like a major airline just like completely. I don't know if we're gonna lose Delta or American
Mhm.
Airline or JetBlue or whatever the case may be." And it's just like, wow, like the whole world has kind of shifted.
Yeah,
We've never been through this, bro. That's why
no,
nobody can't. There's so many ways to talk about it. It's so
right.
inevitable to have the conversation and ask how other people are doing because we've never been through something like this before. But even having conversations like this are easy. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're pleasurable because you know that you're not alone, and this
Mhm.
is the expression of it. And whoever's listening to this, I'm sure, has their own ideas and methods for like keeping peace and productivity and just being able to chill the fuck out.
Right.
And it's important that we comfort each other in this time.
Yeah, and I think even like being unafraid to look ahead and prepare almost for the worst. You know what I'm saying? Because the worst thing is to be blindsided by stuff, but I think that when you actually are unafraid to attack it, to have that hard conversation, okay, what if this is what happens? You
Yeah.
can at least start implementing plans in your head that like relaxes you a little bit. So you know it's not like the end of the world. It's like, okay, I just have to adjust and create a new norm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For me, I feel like I've been planning as if it doesn't exist, but
Mm,
taking it into account. You know what I mean? Like I've
right.
been thinking about music videos in the future, and it's like, all right, I bet. Like let's say in May it does open up, May 15th. All right, bet, cool, on my schedule. But if it doesn't, I'm already starting to like strategize what kind of content can be created from the comfort of my own home with
Hmm.
limited people around and using the internet more than before.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for the last album, we rolled out the album like from from ending to beginning with individual cover arts and like leading up and creating like a timeline. So when the last song was announced, the next day is the full album is
Right.
finally there. So you had snippets of every song before, and it's just like I feel like I got to do that on crack to a certain extent
Mm,
for the next joint because
right.
it's just like that's the more than ever. Those are the tools that are at hand.
Right.
I'm excited by that because it's a challenge. It's like,
Hmm.
yo, how creative are we actually?
Right.
How much do I believe in these ideas and how can I create this like kind of personal connection without having to be in front of people? And I foresee, like you said, like I definitely second that. Like you're gonna have a lot more people burst through the scenes just because of how they're able to just like revolutionize being at home.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm
and
proud of us, man. I
yeah.
know that that's. I know that there's like we had a passing in the family, like the funeral yesterday, and it's like a drive-by funeral, and that shit is like morbid too. Like,
Right.
but I'm proud that people can still make jokes all day, and
Yeah.
people can still like find comedy in this shit, and people can like because through those memes, like you have this shared pain, which is the
Right.
shared experience, which is togetherness, and it's just like
Yeah.
I know Twitter has to chill out
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Like they definitely like are way too fast with the memes, but
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate that shit.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let the heaviness of a situation overtake you. You always got to find some sort of like light in it, even if it's like the humor connects us all because we can like find a common ground to laugh about it. You know what I'm saying? Uh, that's important. I think. What do you think of all these conspiracy theories though? Like the 5G coronavirus conspiracy theory. Like I find this shit so wild. Like
Uh, I don't know, man. I feel like, I mean, I think I've been not falling asleep with my phone next to me, like right by my head, like
yeah,
for a minute. I think it's like common that radiation affects the brain and we are in over our heads and how low our assumptions are for the like long term defects that human beings are gonna have to like deal with. You know what I mean?
right.
With so much cellular activity and like radiation through that, but I don't know about it being a coronavirus, bro.
Yeah.
I think sometimes that's the crazy thing about confidence. Like confidence supersedes fact
Mm,
when it comes to gaining a following. So as long as you're confident about what you're saying, a pack will follow.
yeah.
And personally, though, I'm not going to dispute another person's truth. I'm sure they went on the internet. I'm
Hmm.
sure there are causes. I'm sure there are cases where that seems so. My information on that specific topic is limited. I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think that there are negative effects that are being occurred that that 5G can definitely be
Right.
blamed for, but I'm not too sure.
I think it's interesting that some people sort of can't just like they have to like find like a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't. It's almost I think it's like the same way like propaganda though. You got to think like it's things like Hitler did with the Jews. It's like it's some people need you to put a face on the enemy. You know what I'm saying? Like it's hard to put a face on like this virus, but it's easier to be like, oh, it's the government installing all these 5G things, and they'd rather that's more comforting to them than to actually just like face the facts that this is just some shit that is like beyond human control. You know what I mean? I think
That's human nature.
right.
Human nature is, how can I blame anything else but myself? So when you replace myself with just what the reason is,
Yeah.
and you find anything else
Yeah.
that is more comforting to the mind, that allows for better sleep, because you don't take responsibility for what your actions may have done. So it's just like in the corona, it's just like, no, it can't be the truth. Like, I know they're saying it, but it can't be the truth.
Right.
So let me just find something else to comfort me, instead of like, I had this one guy, man. I went to like 99-cent store and had like, I went to go like pick up a bunch of gloves. Obviously, like, we're all protected, and the dude behind me just starts having a conversation like, "Yo, this is all bullshit. I'm in the military. Like, people who are in the military aren't being affected by it. Like, nobody's dying from this. Like, what the fuck are people talking about? This is just conspiracy shit." After just receiving news, and I'm just like, bro, like,
Yeah.
I didn't even have the patience to like have the conversation. I needed to get the fuck back home, but I'm just like, man, like, if I'm protecting myself from me, but I'm gonna just protect myself from you too, just in case. You know what I mean? Like, you're right. You're gonna think that. That's not gonna prevent me from knowing that how this passes. So I'm gonna keep covering my hands. I'm gonna keep covering my mouth, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna social distance just in case. I would rather you be right and nothing is wrong than me be right and get you infected. You know what I'm saying? But let me take the caution just in case, because a lot of people are still not respecting the fact that real deaths are going behind it. I understand, like, there are a lot of mistreatments medically, because by default the human brain is not a machine. So it's like, if causes come in and symptoms are like synonymous to what coronavirus symptoms look like, you're just going to get treated like you have corona, but you may have a slew of all of these other diseases and things that can go wrong with the human body. So a lot of people are getting mistreated with having corona and then passing away. But that's not what this guy was talking about. This guy's talking about these whole other shits, and it's just like, man, what's important is reducing how many human lives have to be lost by the irresponsibility from a slew of people. It's not time to be it's not time to be a critic. It's not time to be a conspiracy theorist. Honestly, it's time to just like get the fuck over this, because we can't.
I agree, and I think it's a lot of misplaced anger. And it's scary because misinformation like that spreads, and it allows a lot of people to start buying into that and then doing dumb shit that's counterproductive to actually helping the greater good. And I'm not going to say this is obviously like the entire reason, but I mean, we are seeing such a huge disparity when it comes to Black and brown people being affected by this. I think I saw that in New York City, Latinos made up the largest group of people being affected by the coronavirus. And a lot of it is definitely, due to the living conditions, unfortunately, of a lot of people, because a lot of people in our community are underserved, you know what I mean, are on the
project. So I know what that feels like too. Like,
live on top of each other, don't have the financial means to good health care, but also a lot of it is, unfortunately, it's a lot of our own kind of people spreading these sort of conspiracy theories around and then trying to defy authority just for the sake of defying it. You know what I mean? Like, I hate, I have no disrespect to somebody like YG, but him talking about, this is all 5G and this and that, like, that spreads to all his followers. He has a huge platform. Yeah, he was posting something like that, and you have a lot of people like supporting him, like, yo, he's right. And then what happens? Not all of them, but some of those people might be like, fuck it, I don't believe in any of this. I'm gonna run around, free will.
I mean, look at the spring. What's it called again? Fucking spring break. Like, spring break. Fuck that shit. We already planned our trips, and then it's like X amount of causes directly after. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, licking the toilet. Like, oh, I'm gonna just lick the toilet. All right, now they have it. It's just like, bro, like, it's not. It's like how Idris Elba was kind of speaking about it. He was like, yo, like, this isn't a propaganda. Like, I'm using my voice and my celebrity to like raise concern and promote precaution. Like, not everybody's gonna die from this. Like, take care of yourself, and there are steps to be able to take care of yourself even after you do test positive. I have people close to me that have all tested positive, and they self-quarantine and drink water and stay out of people's way, and then you heal. You know what I mean? But it's like, when you promote anything other than the fact that this can be passed along from human to human, it's like this isn't a mental problem. This is a physical thing. You know what I mean? It's physical ailments and this physical harm that is being done. It's just like, I don't know. I think for me, like I pay attention to the news more. Obviously, I have to more now than ever. It's like very, very direct, but I think I just make sure that I still have my moral compass intact, and I have my 2 cents and my common sense still intact. And it's just like, even like it's like I'm looking at those dates, like how we started this segment. It's like, oh, May 15th, like sure, but I'm still really not popping out until I know really the closest here.
Right.
And I mean, sometimes those things are like they're tough. You know?
Yeah, and that's the way you should think though, because there are the spring breakers and things like that, but I'm getting more mad at people from our community because we are already at a disadvantage. You know what I mean? Like we already have issues that plague our community that directly suffer from different ailments and things like that are more susceptible to now this virus, and then you add illogical thinking and just idiocracy as a whole to it, and it makes it even worse. And it's like we need to be even smarter because we're already at a disadvantage, So it makes me even that much more upset when I hear people from our community sort of pushing out these ideas and things like that. And even if that is what you believe, that idea is counterproductive to what we're being told by the experts who are saying that this is what's helping slow it down. So
Sandra, almost no. Like the majority of people have never had to be in the house and face themselves.
Yeah.
And I think when you experience that, especially in a city like New York, where we're like fucking just tough, you know what I mean? Like we're just like, yo, like I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. This is what I believe. This is what the fuck it is. Peace. You know what I mean? That's like, I'm like not even surprised because it's like New York culture, but a lot of people have not had to just be in the house. A lot of people are just getting antsy, and a lot of people are just looking for any kind of excuse, any kind of diversion from like the real truth to be able to just go outside and breathe and see who they have to see and go on about working. Like a lot of people miss work. Like my mom is dying to go back to work, and I'm just like, yo, like she's been working since she was 13 years old or whatever the case may be, like full-time jobs, like forever. Like I don't think she's ever had to like sit for this long and not have a job. And it's tough to break these routines, bro. It's tough to break the routine of going out and getting your money and hustling. And it's tough to like being able to feed yourself. And like I said, like unemployment, like, yeah, that works for a minute, but what if the whole household is going through that? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, so now all of our monthly income is like cut in half, but the bills stay the same. It's just like, you wanna try to forget and ignore what reality is, but we need to be a little bit more future-sighted. We need to have some more foresight, and we need to have a little bit more hope and have our decisions, like be kind to ourselves in the future. I think I mentioned that before. Like, good to like the decisions you make now that are that are maybe maybe not pleasurable in the moment. Most likely, are going to be like good news for you in the future, and we just need to think a little bit more like that. But it's true. We need more community leaders that are black and brown, that are just like, bro, like chill for real. Like fuck all that conspiracy theory shit. But that's why we're here, and this is what we decided to talk about right now.
Right. Nah.
Whoever listens and pays attention is like, yo, we're playing our part. And as long as everybody is playing their part and whatever their capacity is, then I think we'll have some like positive.
I love that, bro. I think that's like a good positive note to sort of end things on. You know what I mean? I think we got through all the bullshit, the venting and all that, and we got to a good place of, I think, encouraging people to really take it upon themselves to stand up and make the right decisions.
Yeah, I've been on my love shit, man. Like sometimes, like I keep hearing a board in the house, and that shit is annoying. Like, nah, don't say that, because then you're speaking boredom into existence. Like, even when I am feeling bored, I'm like, you know what? Let me fucking start doing wall sits. Let me like check into my boy Shamari, who's like doing like consistently in his backyard. He's a fitness coach. So like my boy, I mean, I call him Figgy, but like he has not stopped being a personal trainer. He's converted his IG to like in the backyard. He rolls out his mat, or in his living room, he rolls out his mat. That's dope. He just implements, today's butt day, today's upper chest day, today's like core strength, today's just endurance. And I'm just like, yo, like these are the champions, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a black man fucking, I'm sticking to this. You know what I'm saying? And all his followers, most likely predominantly black and brown people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, this is my brother. Look at him, like taking advantage. Like this is what he decides to post.
Right.
Maintaining physical fitness. Like, all right, let's divert attention back to the human body. And I've been implementing his workout strategies. You know what I'm saying? We're just like, yo, like that's dope. You know what I mean? Everybody in their own space. Everybody in their own means of communication. Everybody in their own perspective on what adding good to the world is.
And whether he realizes it or not, he's helping you get through this in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, what? Hell yeah, my thighs are on fire, bro. Like, I'm gonna come out this bitch looking like The Rock. So that's what I'm saying. Like I think it's literally been helpful to me. Yeah. And I don't always tune in because he goes live the same thing. Like 11 in the morning, he goes live and just starts he has this routine that he implements and shows. But it's like I always watch the videos after and I always save all the clips and I start implementing it in my own way. And I'm just like, yo, like this dude is helping me. You know what I mean? And you from the comfort of your own crib, like that's how you decided to do it. And it's like, you know what? I am gonna stay in the crib. Let me get some sweat on, you know?
Nah, I love it. I mean, I love all that stuff. You've seen a lot of people. I think Maluka was doing a lot of she's doing meditation lives and stuff like that. So like that's fire because even if you're somebody who's never meditated before, it might make you a little bit more open to seeing that, and then you start reaping the benefits from it. You know, so all that stuff is beautiful. Man, I think it's exciting when you hear this stuff because you're seeing the power of the human creativity, and also just our need and want to connect with one another. And whether we realize it or not, we're all chipping in a small part to helping each other get through this whole thing. You know.
And for my hustlers, man, chill out. You don't gotta make everything productive. You know what I'm saying? Like at the same time where I'm like, yeah, let me write some fire and let me reach out to some people and whatever. Like I've been taking time I've never watched Ozark before. I never watched Money Heist before. I never watched yo, let me relax. Like, damn, like it's crazy because for me, actually the opposite effect happened. Like I was outside too much. Like I was always like, let me go out the crib. I gotta be outside. If I'm not outside, I'm not being productive. And it's like kind of at the prior couple of months, even because of winter, that never deterred me. But I started to implement find ways to just be productive from the crib, save some money in your pocket. You are not working on 9 to 5. You got to make sure you're respecting the dollar that you do have. And like I said, as soon as you go outside, there's a price tag on leaving your front door. You're gonna spend money on something. Yeah. So I'm just I've been implementing that, and for me, I'm just obviously I still have those hunger pains to just go out and get busy, but I'm allowing myself time to relax. Let the plan rock. God has a plan too. Yo, you put in work. The fact that the independent film that I was a part of, the Inner City Rat shit came out. I got the text the morning it was live on Amazon Prime, and I'm like, yo, damn, yeah, you put in the work. You still have things popping up. I'm about to start shipping out the books this week. We're gonna start doing the early ship out, so I'm gonna look out for that. But I'm just I'm blessed. I know I'm not the only person blessed. I know that there are people who are blessed in reasons that they're not taking advantage of or aware of. Obviously, you're aware of this shit. You got the mic right in the crib and taking advantage. Yo, let's take it easy a bit because for the people working consistent, my father on the opposite end, my mom, I feel it's been doing him super good. You know what I mean? It's reconnected him with his basic human instincts and essentials and realigned his priorities and just kind of shifted the way he wants to live his next 20, 30, 40, hopefully 150 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just a lot of us needed that as well. A lot of people definitely need to work, but a lot of people needed to fucking take a break and kind of strategize and be able to think about what the next 5 years looks like, be able to think about what their future looks like. And you know what I mean? And start now.
Yeah, I mean, it's dope. I think one of the best things I've heard was my guy Humble the Poet hopped on my live the other day, and he was basically saying, he was like, man, you got to look at it we all just hit the lottery. We all got a chance to sit the fuck down where the entire world is at a standstill right now, and we can just dip and dive into whatever we feel like doing. He was even saying for the first time in his life, he's just messing around producing beats, and it's not necessarily going to be radio quality stuff, but he's just enjoying the idea of learning that and not having any pressure for it to go anywhere. He's just messing around on GarageBand, chopping shit up and just seeing what the fuck happens. And he would have never had the opportunity to try to learn that skill if things were on, because he would be constantly traveling. He'd be doing appearances, this and that. And now he just has the opportunity to sit around and see what production is all about, just for fun.
It's true, bro.
Yeah.
We gonna flip this shit, man.
We're gonna come out better, man.
Bro, I see that shit.
Yeah. I think, listen, we're all pushing ourselves right now to figure this whole thing out. I think in the day we're all going to end up coming out of this with some skills we didn't know we had, or we're going to come out of it more rested than we'll get the rest that we thought we needed. We didn't realize we needed maybe even.
Yeah, I've been putting together the crib. Like I said, we just
Right.
got the house today. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yo, let's make this shit look beautiful. Fuck it. I don't know how long I'm gonna be here. Let me treat my home like my body. You know,
Right.
make sure the shit is right. So
Yeah.
I encourage people to sweep and mop. You know what I mean?
Facts. I actually got to do that, bro. My bathroom's been going
That's
crazy.
what I'm saying.
But my dude, all right, man. Shit. Episode what, 6? We said.
Episode 6, yeah, man. Let's just dedicate it to, like, you know, we'll come back. We'll have, you know, specific thought provoking conversations and all that. But it's good to just like be able to talk. Obviously, man to man. Like I'm seeing you get busy. Like you're seeing what's up, and it's good for the listeners to know like we are all in this together, and this is kind of like our perspective on it. And like I said, I love everybody listening. You know what I mean? I love everybody. We are all in this together. We are human beings. And with the support of each other, with like teaching each other and just encouraging each other to make the right decisions, like this will be in our past, and the future will be even brighter.
Dope. I love it, bro. Good ending note, man. So yeah, that's it. Episode 6. See y'all next week.